Hello, welcome to my studio. It's good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. If you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. So, I am in the mood to do a face. So, I've got some spray inks, I've got my water, rinsing water, I've got my watercolors, some brushes, and we're just gonna have a play. Now, I do have over here my laptop, and I have a reference from Shutterstock that I'm not going to try to replicate her, but I just want to have a bit of a reference. So I've got Abandoned Coral, this is Mermaid Lagoon, and Cracked Pistachio, all from Tim Holtz, and they're stains, and so they don't seem to be quite as much of a punch, but I still like them. So I'm going to just give a couple sprays to get just, some fun, a little background, a little something, and not planning to use a lot, just some. I also have some colored pencils that I'm going to be using. So I'm done with the inks. That's all I'm going to do with the inks. But I think I am going to give it a little bit of a dry. So I'm going to reach. Sorry. I thought it was within reach, but I thought wrong. But I'm going to just give this a quick dry. Okay. That is almost dry. Not quite. But I'm going to grab my paper towels. And I'm just going to give it a roll over, and we're going to pick up some of the bigger drops. But I don't want to smear it if I can avoid it. I still see a few shiny drops. I'm working in my large Dilutions journal, which I really like. And there. So little art journal fun. Okay, so I've got just a regular pencil, and I picked this pencil because they don't tell you, it says it's a number 2, but it's a very small lead. I've got my white block eraser, but I just didn't want the graphite to blur in. Sometimes that's a cool effect, but today I'm just not ready for that. And then I'm just gonna start drawing in my face here. And again, I'm not going for some kind of photorealism at all. But, I just want to kind of, especially for the shading, just have, a little bit of a reference going here. Just drawing her in. A little bit of shading going on there. All right, and then we've got lots of hair going on. So I'm just gonna put in her eyes. And I'd rather have my eyes a little too far apart than I would too close together. I'm going to error in any which way. And see, that almost looks too close together to me. That's why we've got the white block. I am not one of these people that says, oh, you can't erase. Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. All right, let's bring it out a little more this way. I like that better. Yep, I definitely like that better. Okay. That's a little too far out. And She has a very definite Cupid's bow, which is probably one of the many reasons why she's in a photograph, because she's absolutely beautiful. I hope I can do her a little justice here. Okay. All right, so there's my basic face. Her eyes are just so big. Big, beautiful eyes. And I think I'm going to leave it about there. Okay, so I'm going to activate my watercolors. Just give them a little start and see where we go with this. I'm a little intimidated, but you know, I got to start somewhere. So I'm going to give it a little of this pink color. This is quinacridone rose. Little bit of the cadmium yellow. And that rose is already giving me a little bit of blue, some, you know, other colors. And let's just see what this is going to do. It looks like to me it could use just a touch of brown. And this is this, I never can say it. Oh, that's a lot. Let's rinse that out. Okay. Well, we'll see what we get here. If I water it down. Yeah, okay. Let's just see what we have. Oh, poor thing. Now the colors are going to mix and blend with what's underneath, because these colors are not, you know, like color fast or, you know, permanent. They will move when they have a chance with some water, but that's okay. It's just all part of what I'm doing here. And if I start to feel like it's getting a little muddy, I'm just going to add some water, rinse it off. So what are you doing today? Are you getting some art in? I hope. Maybe you're enjoying some beautiful weather. We've got some beautiful weather going on here. We sure do. It is the end of May, and it's going to be maybe touch the 70s. Not sure. But it's nice out. I do have my colored pencils because I'm going to add the more details in with my colored pencils. But I just wanted to block in a bit of a face here. And I've run out of my color, so we're just going to put some more of that together. And it may not be the same. As a matter of fact, I doubt it will be. But that's really okay. I'm just doing the same colors I had before. The geese are out with their families, and it is just so cute. Just these little goslings moving around in the water. And, you know, it's like there's no learning. They just are born with it, and it's just so cute. Really, really cute. Okay. I think I may try to lift a little of this dark orange. Not sure. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and see what happens. If I can, good. If I can't, I'm not going to worry about it. Just see if I can lighten that up maybe a bit. Don't know if I can. Said I'm not gonna sweat it. It's okay. Okay, now some hair. The hair near her face is quite dark, which is kind of normal. So I'm just gonna kind of create a shadowy space here. The blue kind of helps me with that, doesn't it? Her hair falls a little this way. I can't really see much of her hair, which is fine. And then just a little bit of a dark, very little bit of a dark shadow on this side. Her eyes are brown, but that means there's still a lot of different colors going to be in her eyes. But I've started with that sienna color. And I'm just going to add a little of this quinacridone gold in there. Like that. And you cannot see the whites of her eyes under her eyes at all. I'm going to add just a little more of that brown. Yep. Okay. I'm going to give, and if this blends with her eye color, I really don't care, but I'm just going to give a little shadow at the top of her eye where her eyelid would be. And then add a little bit where her nostrils and in the cupid's bow of her mouth. And I'm just going to darken this up a little bit more. Okay. Well, now I'm going to just get some of this yellow, add it to the brown, a little more of the brown, and I'm just going to block in a little bit of hair. We're going to get all kinds of colors in this, and I really don't mind. Let's get some more of the yellow. This side is lighter. Out here's a little bit lighter. I'm just kind of getting a basic shape of hair. And just use this pure yellow. Add a little of that brown again in here. And a little bit of that brown here and there. Yellow. And give a little shape to her hair. A little more yellow and a little more brown. Okay. Okay, I'm liking this. I'm gonna get back with this kind of a flesh tony color. I want it pretty watered down. A little more yellow. Just get a little bit in here. Okay. And then maybe I'm going into the Rhodonite, which is a pink color, to just put a little bit in the corner of her eyes. Not a lot. Okay. That's a pretty darn good start, I think. I really do. I'm still kind of looking. I think I'm going to see if I can just add on top a little bit of this yellow. And again, we're going to be working out some details with the colored pencils. Now, this is not watercolor paper. This is a cardstock. It's good quality, and I like it a lot. But if I was doing this on watercolor paper, I would be getting an entirely different sort of a feel here. And let's see, bring out her hair a little bit more over here. All right. Okay, so I'm going to hit the dryer again, and I will be back. Okay, that was my dropping my heat gun. Okay, she's dry. I don't think I'm going to be using the watercolor anymore, so I'm just going to move them aside just a little bit. And I'm going to bring up the colored pencils. And we can start with what we've got here on top at least. Let's see, I've got 3 of these trays, so let's see what we can do. I realize you can't see all of this, but it does help me. But I'll show you the colors as I go. Okay. Got my pencil sharpener as well, but I did try to sharpen up an awful lot of these, so hopefully we won't be spending too much time with that. All right, so this is dark brown, and she feels dry. So I'm just going to start with an upper eyelid here. On both sides. Just getting a little tear duct in there. I'm going to shade in a little bit in these nostrils and a little bit under and on each side. And just a tiny bit in this Cupid's bow. And a tiny bit under and over. Okay. Already she looks so different, doesn't she? Isn't that something? Okay, I want to go with a little bit of a lighter brown. And this one is sienna. I'm just going to put in a lower lid. And maybe a little bit of shading here. Not much, just a little. Okay, a little more shading here. Now, I want to take a pink. This is called Pink Blush. And I'm just gonna work on this waterline of her eye. Tear duct as well. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a little of a kind of a grayish tone. This is called French gray, but I'm probably gonna have to repeat this. But I'm just shading in a little bit to try to make her eyeball seem a little bit more round. Alrighty. Brown eyes often have quite a distinct ring around them. So let's see what we've got for that. That's a red tone. Dark umber. I wonder what that's going to look like. Should we just give it a try? Ooh, okay. Yeah, I do like that. Yes, I like that very much. I'm going to put a little bit of this in here. Okay. All right, I want a purpley color. And this is Imperial Violet. So that definitely sounds like it's a purpley color. And I just want to get some shading in here. I'm trying not to go too heavy because I don't want the colors that we already have to get gone. And then I'm going to grab a cotton bud and just give it a rub. The paper is more porous than it even was to begin with because the watercolor kind of opened up the pores of the paper, so to speak. I'm using it even though it's got the purple on it, that's fine. And I'm just going over these little shaded areas as well. Okay. Now, let's see about her face. I've got this color, which is awfully light. It's called Light Peach. I wonder, this is called the Blush Pink, which we already used. What else do we have? May have to kind of layer some colors here. How about this one? This one is just peach. All right, I'm going to start with the just peach. It's kind of going to be a mid-tone and see if I can just soften this blue on the edge, but I don't want to necessarily lose it. And just give her a little more of a skin tone and a little less of a blue tone. Just kind of blurring it is what I'm doing. add some over here. Her nose. I like this. And then bring this right up. Kind of leave it because I'm going to have her forehead. I'm going to head in with the light peach and use that more on her forehead. Bring it right on down. Just blending this in a little bit. If I'm shaking the table, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. For a lip color, I'm going to go with a straight pink just to start and to see where that gets me. I don't mind that. I like that. Now her upper lip is in the picture darker, and it always is. So I'm just going to put in a second layer of this pink right on that upper lip. Now I want to get a darker pink. This is called Process Red. Can you see? It looks sharp, but it's not. So I'm going to give it a few twists. Is this something that you would consider doing? I hope so. It's fun. And, you know, don't worry about the outcome. Just enjoy the process. And let's see with this processed red, if I can just give her a little lip liner. I like that. And I'm just going to darken this upper lip a little bit. And you know what? I'm going to put just a little bit of this in the corner, in the way far corner. There. Okay. Now, I want to give her lips a little bit of shape. So I'm going to start with some other colors. This is magenta. Am I right? Yep. I'm just going to add, and I'm just kind of going in kind of like a, you know, the little lines of our lips. And they may end up showing in the finish and they may not. I'm not going to worry about it. But I like that. And I'm going to give a little sparkle of magenta in her eye. It could be just something that she's looking at. And I'm going to give just a little tip on the nose and a little bit under her nose. Yeah. Okay. I'm liking this. All right, she's blonde, but we know right now everyone's into darker eyebrows. So I think I'm going to go back to the, what color is this? The dark brown. And I'm just going to work in a little bit of an eyebrow. I try to use short strokes. because that's how our eyebrows are laid out, in short strokes. Just a little higher in the eyebrow. Okay, what am I thinking of that? I think this eyebrow could come out just a little. Really, they both could. And I'm going to darken this shadow a little bit. Now, a little bit more going on with the lips. I'm just doing a light touch. That is good with me. I'm going to go back in with the magenta. Okay. Now, just a little bit under her chin here. I'm going to go back to my sienna. No, I'm sorry, dark brown. And just a little more there. Almost too much. Okay, I'm happy with that. All right, so the lightest of these peaches is this one called Peach. And that one's called Pink. Blush Pink. Okay. I just want to smooth out her nose a little bit because it's quite dotty from adding that ink, which, you know, is cool. I mean, I'm okay with it, but just want to smooth it out. I want it to be there, but I don't want it to be distracting, if that makes sense. I hope so. All right, I'm going to give a little color to her throat. Oh boy, wiggling the whole table again. Sorry. And I'm going to add one of the little bit darker shades. Well, this is a pink. That's okay. And I'm going to get that blender again. Kind of blend this in. Okay, I want a different purple. This is a violet shade. And I'm just going to add a little of this violet. Trying to grab my cotton bud. A little shadowy where her hair was going to be falling. And I can add even more of that when I add more hair. All right, I'm going to take this little violet and I'm going to add a little of that in this eye too. Like a little shadow. Okay, so now going back to her eye. Now this is called Tuscan Red, but it really has a brown flavor. And I'm just going to be going like starbursts from the pupil out, because that's kind of how your iris is. It's got these lines that go from your pupil out. So I'm going to put those in. And then I want a gold of kind, not a metallic gold, but kind of, this is called yellow ochre. I want to add a little of that in. I'm just going to put it at the top and at the bottom of her eyes. No matter what color your eyes are, I like to add colors because you're always reflecting what's around you. I'm going to take a dark green. Sometimes, you know, green is almost to brown. This is one of the darkest greens I can find, and it's called grass green. I'm going to go real gentle, but just make some lines heading into the pupil all the way around. And I can still see that violet I added. I can still see that pink. Definitely see that ochre. And there. Okay. All right, I think it's time to add the pupils. And for that, I really do want black. So that's always a bit of a challenge to find at times. Okay, here's our black. And round out these pupils. That always adds some life, doesn't it? Is my head in the frame? I'm sorry. Yeah, that always adds a little something, something, doesn't it? I like it. Okay, going back into this with this processed red, I almost feel like the brown lines are a little too strong, so I'm just going to kind of rub them a little bit here. I like that better. Okay, now she still needs more of a shadow in her eye because her eye is still looking too flat. So this is warm gray 50%. This one is cool gray 50%. So we've got these two grays. And I really don't see a darker gray, but that's okay. I'm going to go with the warm gray and just right across and a little bit over the tear duct and a little bit on the other side of the tear duct and right over her whole eye, iris, everything, right there. Okay. All right, that's better. Could use a little more. When I leaned back, I could see it could use a little more. All right, now, eyelid. Well, I'm going to give her a little eyeshadow, but understated. So this is burnt ochre. And I'm just going to give her a tiny bit of some eyeshadow. And I'm going to give a little shading right in here. All right, cotton bud. Blur this out a little bit. Thank you for hanging in with me this long. I realize this is getting long, but it's what we're doing. All right, I'm going to add a little white right up the center here and onto her forehead a little. I'll blur that out. Yep. And then I'm going to start adding a little shine to her lipstick. I'm looking at my reference now just to see where the shine is. And she only has a little bit of shine at the top on that upper lid, upper lip. Okay, I'm going to take the white and just fill in, but not over that gray, just over the sclera, but not over the gray. Okay, let's get some hair. So I am going to I've got bunches of colors here. Look, these are all the colors we've used so far. Isn't that something? Just to make a face, huh? All right, so I'm just going to turn some of these over to get all of the points up. And then I'm going to just try to lay them in here. Sorry for the housekeeping, but I'm really kind of getting things a little out of control. That's not uncommon for me. Oh, and I'm dropping some on the floor. Okay. Now, hair. Okay, it's gonna start with some blonde. But I want it kind of a blondie brownie, not necessarily goldenrod. So I'm gonna start with this yellow ochre. So let's just see where we get with this. And get some lines going in here. Okay, like that a lot. You can see I'm really holding the back of the pencil so I get less control and more color. Because I don't mind if it's looking sketchy. Now I'm going to move this tray. You know me, I like a lot of hair. Okay. Now, more of a light browny, tanny color. If you like my color descriptions. What's this? This could even be mauve or gray, I'm not sure. This is that French gray 50%. I'm going to draw some of that in. Yep, okay. That's enough of that though. Now, again, something that's kind of brown. I've got that sienna. And I've got this burnt ochre. Let's go with the burnt ochre to start with. I keep getting caught. And I don't want that. We're still just adding color to her hair, but and just kind of the shape. Okay, I'm gonna fill this in just a little bit. There's some voices outside, if you can hear them. They're outside of my balcony. I'm upstairs, they're downstairs, but I can hear them, so I don't know if you can hear them. Okay, now I'm going to hit it with some more of a yellow. This is called yellow orange. Well, I'm okay with this. Yep. Okay, now I'm going to get more of a sunshiny. And this is called lemon yellow. All right. Now I'm going to deliberately put more strands in with a more deliberate hand here. And I bring this over her face a little. And I've got another yellow here. And this one's called Yellow Ochre. I think that's where we started. I want a different shade. What's this? This is really light. Cream. You may not be able to see this. It's just adding just a tiny bit of a highlight. Okay. Now, you know, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm very hesitant with eyelashes. I found this dark green. I'm just going to add a little bit of this to her brown eyes. I think that'll be pretty. Whatever I do to the right eye, I do to the left. You do want your eyes as best you can to kind of match. Okay. So, eyelashes. I don't want to use black. That can be awfully harsh, even though she's probably used black mascara. Let's see. What is this? This is just called sepia, but it looks like a dark brown. I'm looking at my reference, and yep, you just see some eyelashes coming out here. And then very little on the rest, because they're kind of coming at us. It's these outer edges that show up more. And then on the bottom, very, very little. So I am going with very little. And you can see just a little bit here. And I almost wonder if it's more the shadow of the eyelashes than it is the eyelashes. Okay. Now I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to add some hair. And I'm going to add a couple of stray strands. Like that. There. Okay, what do you think? I'm liking her very much. I'm going to just take this same color and give these eyebrows a little boost. Like that. This one needs a little more of a boost. Okay. All right. Now, white highlights. I've got my white gel pen. Let's see if we can get it started on the paper towel. And now I'm going back to my reference. This is the first time I've gone back in the reference for quite a while because I wanted to see just where the shine was. She's got a shine like this. And then she's got one that cuts right across here. And I'm just going to give a dot here. Okay. I'm just blotting them a little. I don't want them too strong. And now a shine in her lip here. And that one is, this shine is pretty noticeable. Just a tiny little bit of shine up here. I'm sorry if you can see my head. And then a little bit of shine happening here. And a little sparkle on top of her eye. Just like that. Yes. A little sparkle on her nose. I'm really being gentle with this. I don't even know if you can see that. Okay. Any other shines, lady? Okay. Now, I'm going to add a little brightness right under her eyebrow with just the white pencil. And then just a little bit in here. I like that. And then just a little bit under her chin. Well, it's like on her chin. Okay. All right. I'm doing good with this. I'm liking it well. I'm going to go ahead and drag just a few sparkles of white hair just where the light might be really hitting it. And it's blending in with the colors, which is good. Okay. Well, I'm liking her. I think she's coming along. I'm going to add just a little bit of shine here. Well, what do you think? I think she's doing good. I'm just going to add just a little. Okay, now, pop of color. I'm going to add just a few little pops of color. I think I'm going to go with a blue because I really haven't hit any blue. So I'm just going to add a couple of strands of hair, one even coming out a little bit. Like that. I'm going to add a little bit of this over her eye. Each side. A little under her eye. I'm going to add a little bit just on the edge of her hair. Just a little bit in here. Same over here. I'm going to add just a tiny bit on her lip. I'm going to kind of blend it out. Okay. Well, let's get ourselves a little Sharpie and give her a sign. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like our girl. I think she looks fine. I hope you consider trying it. And if you want, I've got a couple of videos that is a really basic in starting faces. And this was just a fun play in my art journal today. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in my next video. Thanks.